Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a video review. And for this review, I'm going to be taking a look at the game Weird West, the new game developed by Wolfeye Studios and published by DevollerDigital on the Xbox Series X and S. This is being played on the Series S though. It's worth pointing out the game is also available on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC via Steam, and I believe as of recording of this video, it is currently available on Game Pass as well. And if you're interested in any gameplay footage, I'll have a link down in the description down below, or you can click on the card that will appear up on this video. And for parents out there though, it's worth pointing out that Weird West is rated M for mature audiences only, ages 17 and up by the ESRB rating though. So when it comes to Devolver Digital though, they are known for publishing basically very interesting digital games out there, and there are some that I am a big fan of, whether it's games like the Serious Sam series that they have published, to even maybe like Shadow Warriors 1 and 2 though. They are known to really publish some interesting games though. Some may or may not appeal to some folks though, but it depends on your preference and taste though. So what's interesting is hear about them developing the game publishing the game Weird West from Wolfeye Studios. This studio is made up of former members of Arcane, that basically the same studio that is known for either the Dishonored series, the reboot of Prey, and especially they're currently working on, Redfall though, where they show off a little bit of gameplay during the Xbox Bethesda showcase. Well, after spending some time with Weird West, I will say it is definitely an enjoyable game from Devolver Digital, even if it's far from being perfect, shall we say though. So why don't we get started with the pros and the cons, and I do want to start off with the pros though, and the first one has to do with the visuals and the art style though. And I will say I like the visual and the art style of the game. It looks pretty good though. I like some of the 2D drawings that they point out during some of the cutscenes, to even basically some of the characters' animation. There's a little bit of a cel-shaded look to the game, which is certainly nice. And I like how some of the levels are all designed in a way kind of like one of those old maps and all, especially when you're trying to move around and all that stuff. So from the visuals and the style of the game though, it definitely looks good though. The next thing I do want to talk about is the gameplay. Now, the gameplay is basically it basically plays similar to your twin stick shooter though. Basically, you move around. Basically, when you move around, you aim and you use one of the analog sticks. I'm using a controller, not a mouse or keyboard to be exact. Move around, and the other analog is to, when you aim your gun or your weapon, you use that to basically hit the target, and so forth. So the gameplay is definitely good if you basically enjoy, twin stick shooters though. There are some RPG elements in the game. You will be able to get powerful guns, to basically powerful armor or stuff to basically add to your character and all. It's basically also a loot system, so you could basically, any guns you find, you could sell them, or you could break them down into ammo, which could come in handy depending on what kind of gun you're using though. Basically, you also move around in a somewhat of a world map though, to one place to another though. Sometimes it might take a little bit longer if you walk though, but if you buy a horse, things will speed up though. You also at the same time also run into random encounters though, to be exact. Some might be, say, a traveling merchants, where you might be able to find items you can't find in the general store if you go into town. Others might be an ambush, ranging from gangs to the Living Dead or Supernatural or something, or you might run into something unexpected though. It's sort of random, so you don't know exactly when it will pop up though. You also have basically side missions and bounty hunter missions though. Completing those will basically increase your reputation, which can be useful if you're trying to get stuff in town or anything like that though. But at the same time, you may run into missions where some of them may require you to do something at the cost of your reputation, to even basically if you're fighting off a gang or something, if you don't kill all of them, Some of them may escape and may one day pop up out of nowhere and cause you trouble and all that stuff. So there's certainly some choices and consequences depending on what your actions are that could lead to situations that might be good or bad. But in either case, though, the gameplay is, in my opinion, enjoyable. And last but not least, and I will have to say, and I gotta give credit to the developers at Wolfeye Studio, though, I like the interesting concept that they aimed for this game, though. The idea of taking the Wild West and mixing it with like a supernatural type of look to it. So it's really neat, ranging from fighting, like outlaws to cultists to even, monsters or the living dead or anything like that, to even your character having some supernatural powers based depending on whether you find relics to do certain moves, to cards to basically increase some stats, though. It's just the whole concept looks really neat, and I like this idea. And it would be very interesting if they expand upon the idea even more. Maybe if they do a Weird West 2 or something like that. Excuse me. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to part 2, which is the con. So we'll take a little break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my video review of Weird West on the Xbox Series X and S, though, being played on the Series S. So now that I gave you the pros, why don't I give you the cons, though? And there are really only 3 cons I could think of in regards to my time with Weird West. The first one has to do with the controls, though. Now, I'm not saying that the controls are terrible or anything like that. The game does play fine and all that stuff. It's just that it takes a little bit of getting used to, and that has to do with the twin stick controls, though. I mean, they work, but I would say it's far from being perfect, though. Sometimes I found that aiming with it can be a little awkward at times, to be exact, though, especially when a lot of your special moves are mapped to certain buttons and all, like especially if you're using one to hold down one thing and trying to move the stick to aim for another of those. And to basically the idea of when you're adding a melee weapon, you have to hold down the aim button like you would with the gun, though, which to me kind of basically makes no sense. So I won't say the controls are terrible. I won't say it makes the gameplay unplayable or anything like that. It certainly doesn't, though. It's just that the twin stick controls kind of take a little bit of getting used to. The next thing I do want to say, and this one I kind of view as sort of I would say a minor con. It's not really a huge con, at least from my perspective, though. And that is, while the game does have RPG elements on it, the RPG elements are sort of light, though. I mean, yes, you do have the ability to upgrade your weapons, upgrade your armor, though, and you do find stuff ranging from gold cards to relics to unlock special moves for your character, to gold cards that could be like maybe unlocking safes that make it a little bit easier to unlock safes, though, make it less easier to be detected by enemies, especially if you decide to take a stealth approach to take out certain enemies, though, to basically, being able to grow your posse or your gang, excuse me, or your allies to bring into you on missions and all. So, I mean, those aren't necessarily bad, but don't expect it to be on the RPG level, like something like what Borderlands was, where that has a mixture, which has several RPG elements or anything like that. You're not really going to find that in a game like Weird West. Again, it doesn't make the game terrible or anything like that. It's just the game certainly is somewhat light on the RPG side of things. And last but not least, though, I do want to say, based on my time with the game, though, basically there are some glitches, here and there that I have ran into. While this hasn't ruined my enjoyment of the game, there are certainly some cases where there are some little bit of annoyance, though. Some cases I've seen is where certain characters basically move and possibly get stuck at something, or something's blocking their path. I've seen one mission where I had someone's horse was on top of the roof, And there have been times when there have been, on rare occasions though, the game has booted me out and I had to quit the game and go back in, to be exact though. So I have ran into some glitches here and there based on my time with Weird West. Again, it hasn't ruined my experience or anything like that, but it is worth pointing out though. Also, it's also worth pointing out that although this game is being played on the Xbox Series S, as of right now, there is no Series X or S or PS5 version at this time, so the game's pretty much running what it would look like on the PS4 and the Xbox One. Whether you think that's good or bad or not, that's going to be your preference and your call. I just think that it doesn't make the game bad, but it would have been nice to see something like, say, like a graphical option to make the game run at 60 frames per second at a lower resolution though. So, but like I said, I'll put it that side. Some glitches here and there, but nothing that ruins the game though. Overall, I would say Weird West is an enjoyable game from DevolverDigital, even if it's far from being perfect or anything like that. At its best though, I will say that gameplay, I will say I like the art style and the visuals. I do enjoy the gameplay, and I like the whole Wild West meets supernatural concept though. I think it's a really neat idea that the developer Aulx Studio created though. But at its worst though, sometimes the game, the controls take somewhat getting used to, especially with the twin stick controls though. The RPG elements are certainly light, although, like I said, I don't think it's a huge deal in any way. And there are some glitches here and there that I have ran into. Again, nothing that ruins my enjoyment of the game, but they are certainly noticeable. But either way, I am enjoying my time with the game Weird West though. It is one to take a look at though, especially if you are a fan of the type of games that DevolverDigital has been known to publish. And if you have Game Pass, at least as of the recording of this video though, the game is available currently on Game Pass, so it is worth, trying out to see if it's something that clicks with you or not. But in either case though, I am enjoying my time with Weird West though, and I certainly would be open to a sequel if the developers Wolfeye Studio ever decide to make a sequel, and whether or not DevolerDigital will ever publish one though. So time will tell if that happens, but it is worth taking a look at, especially this game Weird West, especially if you have Game Pass though. Okay, this concludes my video review of Weird West on the Xbox Series X and S. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Weird West? Have you tried the game out yet though? Do you like this game that DevolverDigital has put out though? Would you be open to the idea of a sequel? And have you tried the game via Game Pass in any way? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal Me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye.